Welcome to Matt's Metal Show. No, just kidding. Today we're going to talk about fucking Guns N' Roses, finally, right? Going to go over the studio albums of Guns N' Roses. There is only 6 of them, and they've been around since 1986 or 87. So, like, my last year of high school is when Guns N' Roses started, and they have 6 fucking albums. Jesus. So, I have a love-hate relationship with Guns N' Roses, just like I do with Motley Crue and a lot of bands. I can remember, like, when we were in high school, like, we weren't into Guns N' Roses. Nobody was. Appetite for Destruction came out in 87. But it really didn't, like, take off and get moving until, like, probably like 88 or 89, really. 89 is when they opened for the Stones with Living Colour. And I saw that tour up in the LA Memorial Coliseum. And I remember, it was weird, man. I remember, it was cool seeing that lineup, but I remember Axl was talking a bunch of shit. I think the fucking, because they had already come out with GNR Lies, too. So I think, remember, like, Living Colour was, like, kind of talking shit about them, because of that song, 1 in a Million. And then Axl came out after, and he started saying all this fucking crazy shit. And there was a lot of turmoil on those LA shows. I remember I think they played, like, 4 dates, or, like, October, like, I think I was at the first one, which was October 18th, 1989, and then it was like the 19th, 20th, and 21st, I want to say, or 22nd. I think there was a break in there. But they did play like 4 straight shows at the fucking, the Stones did, on the Steel Wheelchair Tour. That's what we called it. Because just in 89, the Stones were old, man. I loved Living Colour. I still love Living Colour. So, but I did get to see that. Not a lot of output by these guys because, I don't know, there's a lot of turmoil. Been a lot of turmoil probably since day one. I can remember, like, I think Axl was saying he was going to quit the band or some shit. It's like, you're an opening act for the Stones. And you go out and you're, like, talking shit about quitting the band already? Fuck, dude. But, apparently Axl wasn't as fucked up on drugs as they were. That's why Axl was the smart guy, and he got the good lawyer, and that's how he ended up owning the fucking Guns N' Roses name. All those guys signed there like, yeah. Hey, Slash, we're going to give you $10 and a bottle of fucking Jim Beam. Oh, cool. Just sign right here, dude. Oh, cool. Slash got a bunch of money, though. Don't feel bad for him. But you don't have none of them have nearly the kind of money that Axl has. I saw them, of course, with Metallica on the Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 tour in 92. I saw them in 92, September 30th, 92. See, I can remember these dates now. It's crazy. Originally, it was supposed to be like August 14th, and they had to postpone the concert like a month and a half because James got torched in Montreal, and then fucking Guns N' Roses started a fucking riot. Guns N' Roses, I can remember when Appetite was huge. Probably when MTV finally gave a fuck about them, and they started playing, Welcome to the Jungle in heavy rotation. You got to see that pasty, weird, red-haired Axl doing his fucking dance and looking all scary with his yellow fucking dirty ass teeth because he was nasty. I met him at the NAMM show one year, I think. Yeah, he smelled like BO and cigarettes. So those guys used to smoke like a billion fucking cigarettes. Yeah. They, we all know what happened after, like, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. They did a covers album where they snuck in a Charles Manson song at the end of the fucking album. And it was funny because I was listening to that album the other day, and I never fucking looked for that. But I could remember like all the controversy, and I didn't realize like, I mean, it's on there. I think they removed it, or they said they were gonna, and they never did. Charles Manson didn't get any fucking money for it. Supposedly, they had to put the royalties for him like went to victims or something. I don't know. It happened before I was fucking born, so. Um, but of course they had to. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put a Charles Manson song on there because I'm cool as shit. Really? Uh, not cool. Fucking lame. Let's worship a dirtbag. Cool, but that was Guns N' Roses. You know, they're trying to be all controversial and shit. Um, and you know they came out with what in '88 they came out with GNR Lies, and that kind of took off a little later, like kind of around the time they were touring for the Stones. It's kind of when Guns N' Roses started getting really, you know, their album was selling. You know, Appetite for Destruction is one of the best-selling debut albums of all time. I think it is the best-selling debut album of all time. But it took a lot of years for that to like come into. It wasn't like it dropped in '87 and then it sold 10 million copies like that year. That didn't happen. Guns N' Roses was slowly building up. Then they got huge, and then they fucking disappeared because none of them could get along. And you know, everybody, one band member after another, just was sick of fucking Axl's bullshit, so they would just leave. And it started with, well, Adler got fired because he was a full blown drug addict, and he just wasn't. All of them were, but like he was the one that wasn't functioning as a fucking drug addict. So they ditched his ass, got Matt Sorum. And then Matt Sorum later on, he played in Motorhead and shit like that. Then he played in the Cult. I want to say like, or Audio Slave. Was it Audio Slave? No, it was. Can't remember. I'll have to look it up. Not a huge fucking Matt Sorum fan. And then after that, like Izzy left. Which that was a big shot because Izzy wore a lot of fucking shit, you know, especially the good shit. Um, and Izzy went off and what? He formed like the Juju Dolls or whatever. Something like that. I didn't really follow him after that. I mean, I was kind of into Guns N' Roses. I kind of wasn't. My ex-wife, who was my girlfriend, and then my wife, she fucking loved Guns N' Roses. She thought they were so cool. And me, I was kind of like, eh. I mean, of course, we all listened to Appetite until we wanted to throw up. But, and then who left? Then it gets, you know, they got Gilby Clarke. They got Dizzy Reed, keyboard player. When I saw him in '92, you know, they had the full-on chick backup singers and a fucking horn section, or like Duff McKagan's brothers playing like the trombone and shit and all that fucking bullshit. Axl coming up out of the stage, playing the Godfather theme on the grand piano, and it was actually kind of gross to watch. I remember that. I remember seeing him at the stadium, and it was just like Metallica just played. James was burned, so he only played one song, but he sang the rest. And but then here comes Guns N' Roses, and you know they're supposed to be this gritty, you know, they're supposed to be the scariest band, the world's most dangerous band, right? What? Because they were gonna throw up on you or fucking pass out in your living room, and then you'd have to try and move their dumbasses. I mean, how dangerous were they? Oh, Axl's so scary. If Axl took a poke at me, I'd rip his motherfucking head off and shit down his throat. Fuck that guy. He's a fucking goof. I just say that so Axl will punch me, and then, like, for the rest of my life, I get to walk to the mailbox and be like, oh, thank you, check. Oh, thank you, Axl. So if Axl wants to fight me, let's put him up. Put him up. I was never afraid of Axl Rose, little fag. Anyway. Or no, he's like homophobic, so whatever. After that, like, who knows? At one point, Slash fucking bailed. At one point, Def fucking bailed. I don't know if they bailed or got fired. Then after that, like, the fucking wheels came off. And then it took them 10 fucking years from 1997 to 2007 to record Chinese Democracy. And that was the last Guns N' Roses album so far. They did come out with a new single, like, well, they haven't come out with it yet, but they played it. It's called Hard School or Old School. What's it called? Let me check here real quick. It's called Hard School. And school is spelled like, like Alice Cooper would fucking spell it. Skool, because they're cool. The song left over from Chinese Democracy, and then, like, they gave Duff and Slash writing credits because, they tweaked it. All these songs are old. They did come out with an actual single, like, in August called Absurd, and, like, the R's backwards. Post it. And I hadn't heard it. I actually just listened to it like 5 minutes ago because I was like, oh, did I miss something? So I went and got it, paid my $1.29 on Amazon, and it's fucking garbage. People are like trying to praise it, like, oh, this is what Guns N' Roses would sound like in the future. First of all, Guns N' Roses doesn't sound like anything because they haven't actually made an album since 2008, and I just checked my fucking tattoo right here, and it says that was 13 fucking years ago. And that album took 10 motherfucking years to make. If you do the math, there's 14 songs on that album. It took, like 9 months for each motherfucking song on that album. 9 months. It took fucking 10 years. That album cost like $50 million to make. Yeah. And it's not good. Absurd is, I don't know. Obviously, Axl's a huge Trent Reznor fan, and that's kind of like the kind of music he wants to make. Supposedly, Guns N' Roses is making a new album. Supposedly, I don't know. They've been on tour for 5 years now. It's literally been 5 fucking years. This part of the tour, the 5-year motherfucking tour of greatest hits, is called We're Effing Back Tour. Effing back, dude. It's 5 years you've been fucking. I mean, I know the pandemic chopped off a year, but you started this shit in 2016. It's almost 2022. Like, fuck, it's almost been 6 years. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Milk that motherfucker. And people are going out. The average ticket price is about $214. That's the average ticket price. That means, like, that's for the, shitty seats. You don't even want to pretend to fucking think that you want to buy seats in the first 10 rows. Fucking costs as much as a car. To see these fat, bloated fucks up there singing fucking "Welcome to the Jungle." At least Axl could still fucking sing. I mean, if you call that shriek, that shrill fucking Axl voice singing, if you do, that's cool. There's a lot of Guns N' Roses shit that I love. I don't fucking hate Guns N' Roses. I typically hate Axl because he's a fucking douchebag and he thinks he's such this brilliant artist. But when you listen to the stuff like Absurd, when you listen to it, and I just spun Chinese Democracy, like, he thinks he's fucking brilliant and he's fucking not. He's a fucking retard. And you listen to that shit and you're just like, oh, this is like industrial, okay. But it still has that whack, 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 whack fucking Guns N' Roses fucking, because that's all they could fucking write. And then it just has the actual commentary where you're just dumber for fucking hearing it. It's funny, though, because they got a lot of shit back in 88. I remember because they made Axl go on. I think the record company Geffen said, dude, you better get the fuck out there and do some damage control. Because on GNR Lies, Guns N' Roses started to get so big that they thought they could say whatever the fuck they wanted. And, it started off on Appetite, like, where, what was that song? Everybody's trying to please me, baby. It's so easy when everybody's trying to please me. Cars are crashing every night. Why can't I remember the fucking title of that song? Remember that though, where he's like, "Fuck you," like they would say. First of all, that's why Guns N' Roses kind of irritated me after a while. My ex-wife loved them. She thought they were, oh, I love Axl, but she always liked weird fucking ugly singers like Mick and fucking Steven Tyler and fucking Axl Rose. So, ex-wife. Um, They came out with the fucking album, and everybody was sucking their dicks and fucking giving them money and acting like they were the fucking greatest thing. But the thing is Guns N' Roses popped right at the perfect time. They were kind of like leading out of the MTV metal, fucking hair metal bullshit, poser glam metal, and into grunge. They were like that bridge band that was not hair metal and not a heat fucking hair metal. It was MTV metal. It was that Dying Whitesnake, Poison, fucking Bullet Boys, fucking Winger, fucking bullshit. In between that and like Nirvana, there was Guns N' Roses and Metallica. I mean, and it's funny because Metallica just drove a truck over them and kept going because Metallica could actually get along. And look how many albums they've sold. So, they were that fucking bridge band. They weren't quite that fucking MTV metal. They were dirty and kind of gross. They're all a bunch of drug addicts, all tattooed and skinny and pale white, and fucking look like they crawled out from under a fucking dumpster. That they were like the precursor, like fucking Nirvana, where it's like do heroin and look like a fucking scab, look like you buy your clothes at a fucking thrift store, and Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain, let's have a kid, but we're both junkies. That's fucking sad, and that shit like that. I didn't really appreciate that. That's kind of why I like Guns N' Roses like in the beginning, and then they flickered out fast because I was like, these guys are scum. I don't really celebrate scum, not really into that. Ooh, got a little Snapple today. But anyways, so when GNR Lies came out, it was like two EPs kind of smashed together. Live Like a Suicide, which came out in '86, and it was 4 live songs from the club days, which turns out it was not. It was actually recorded in the studio, so it was all a lie. And that's why it was called GNR Lies. And then there was 4 new songs from '88. Patience. I'll go over this when I go over the albums, but there was one song in particular called One in a Million. And that was a song where I guess Axl and Geffen and whoever decided let them say whatever the fuck they want because they're Guns N' Roses and they're starting to, build this huge momentum. And that song got them into a fuck ton of trouble because the lyrics on it didn't do any favors for them. So I remember on MTV they had to get Axl Rose's dumbass to go over and apologize, and and then all of a sudden he's singing songs with Axl or with fucking Elton John at the fucking Freddie Mercury concert because he did Bohemian Rhapsody with Elton John. Suddenly they're like retooling his image because they're like, you think you could say and do whatever the fuck you want, but there comes a point to where it's called career suicide. So Gavin and them, they already were backing him and they already wanted to fucking make a ton of money, and they were like, oh, damage control. So suddenly they were trying to make Axl look like a fucking nice person, and he's fucking not. He's a racist piece of shit. He's fucking homophobic. And You could slap whatever you want, and he could say what he was speaking from the heart. You listen to that song. That was Axl Rose laid bare. So you could go and try and gloss it over, and I think like now they don't even put that song on the album anymore. It's like gone. Um, but hey, what was said was said. Now the funny thing is, I fucking love that song because you know why? I love Axl being fucking Axl, like being that's him. So I'm not condoning his fucking behavior, but at the same time, I like that song. It's fucking hilarious, man. Um, so fucking dumbass Axl Rose. Yeah, that's kind of the reason. Like, I don't mind Slash. I got all his solo stuff. He's fucking good. He's a good guitar player. He's not one of my favorites. I think he's kind of fucking boring. But and Duff, I remember meeting Duff at the NAMM show back in the day. This was in like it was probably '89. I remember he was sitting at a table and I went up and I was like, and he was all fucked up. Like they were all like out of control. But I remember going up and I was getting the autograph for my wife Dana, and it's my ex-wife, and um, and I go, hey, can you sign it to Dana? And he's like, okay. And then he like starts to write something, and he crumples up the poster that they were giving out. And he threw it in the trash, and then he's all, what is it? And I'm like, it's to Dana, like Dana. And then he starts to write again. He fucks up again, crumples it up, throws it away. And I'm like, dude, it's Dan with an A on the end of it. Like, fuck. Took it 3 times to write Dana. Not the sharpest tool in the shed. He's cool now. He's all sober. They're all sober. Slash is sober now. They're all kind of, well, I don't know. Duff's not fat, but Slash has definitely got some fucking. It looks like he's buff. Like I look like I'm buff. Like, yeah, I'm buff. Not. He's just fat. He's up there. You know, definitely likes quarter pounders with cheese. Or a Royale with cheese if you're in fucking Amsterdam. And then you got creepy ass Axl. At some point, he got like cheek implants or some shit. He did a bunch of weird plastic surgery to his face, and he was like, you know, and he was at one point he was doing the fucking braids and shit. And he was all crazy and shit. You'd see him at like random shit, like fashion shows or some shit. He's a fucking psychopath. Anyways. Let's get to the Guns N' Roses. It's not going to be a long show because they don't have a lot of stuff. So, let's do it. Guns N' fucking Roses. Wow. Welcome to the jungle. All right. They got 6 studio albums. 6. Number 6, I'm going to go The Spaghetti Incident, which is just a covers album. Came out in 1993. It was kind of like the last real Guns N' Roses album, but it was all covers. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of cover albums, especially with Axl singing, but he does nail Hair of the Dog, like from Nazareth. Like, he fucking nails it because he has that kind of voice. Since I Don't Have You, they kind of sneak the F word in at the end of that. You know, we're so fucked, you know. I like New Rose. I think that's Duff McKagan singing, isn't it? I want to say. And then Down on the Farm. Down on the Farm. There the Dog's cool. I Don't Care About You was like a Lee Ving song, right? Yeah. And then there's a little bit of silence, and then there's that fucking Charles Manson song. I don't even remember what the fuck it's called. Like, ooh, Charles Manson. And the fact is, I think I read a story or something where they said like Like he was talking to Marilyn Manson or something, and Manson was one that said like he was doing a Charlie Manson song, and then Axl kind of ripped it off, and then fucking Manson wanted to kick his ass. Either of them, like I'm not afraid of. Like people are like, oh, Marilyn Manson's a fucking dork. I mean, I like some of his shit, but he's a fucking dork. The controversy was over the song "Look at Your Game, Girl." So, like, the thing is it goes into "I Don't Care About You" is 4 minutes 51 seconds, and then starting at 2:17, what does it say? Look at your game. Hidden track starting at 2:17 called "I Don't Care About You." So you got, I don't know, it's at the end of fucking, leaving fucking the Fear song. Yeah. It's not awesome, and it's kind of fucking lame that they would fucking include a Charles Manson song. Which, they just did it to be assholes. Like, like fucking douchebag fucking Rob Zombie's gotta, put a big giant Charlie Manson poster in like fucking Halloween 2, like, and it says, "In Charlie We Trust." Really? You ever want to just fucking turn me off? Just be like, "Oh yeah, I fucking love Charles Manson." What the fuck is wrong with you, you fucking idiot? And that's fucking Axl, fucking douchebag. So take your Charlie Manson song and the rest of this album, except for about 4 songs, and just jam it sideways up your fucking ass, Axl. This album was bullshit. It was just kind of like, it was supposed to be like an interim album, and so they could start working on the next album. And then everybody bailed because everybody was so fucking sick of Axl's fucking bullshit, or he fired him, or who fucking knows. I think it was kind of like, dude, I'm fucking out of here. Fuck you. Like, I remember Slash left, and he didn't talk to fucking Axl for like 10 years. Like, didn't even fucking speak to him. This guy that they were in this giant band together. So that's fucking crazy, right? All right. That was number 6, the Spaghetti Incident? Question mark? Yeah, it was a question mark. It was like, what the fuck is this? All right. Let's get to number 5. Number 5 is going to be 2008's Chinese Democracy. The album that took 10 years and like $52 million to make. I think it was $52 million. Let's check it out. Because I think they wrote it down and they were like, what? Boom, boom, boom. Do, 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 do. Just by 2000, after 3 years, it already exceeded $13 million. Just in the first 3 years. Fucking nutball. Yeah, I think it was like $52 million or something it took this album to come out. $52 million on an album that sold 1 million copies. Like worldwide, it sold like less than 2 million copies. If you're doing the math, like I am, this album was way in the red. The thing is like, it had been 15 years since Guns N' Roses had come out with an album. Axl Rose is some reckless weirdo getting fucking cheek implants and fucking braiding his hair like he's Gary Oldman in fucking True Romance. Remember Gary Oldman as the pimp? That was fucking awesome. Yeah, no one really cared. Like, that was the thing about Guns N' Roses is like, dude, they were huge and then they just fucking disappeared. Now everybody's like, oh yeah, I love Guns N' Roses. Why? Did that nothing for you? But people are sheep. That's cool. Chinese Democracy. It has 14 songs and took 10 fucking years to record. It had Bumblefoot on it. It has Buckethead on it, and it has that guy that's still in Guns N' Roses. Um, Played guitar on it. So they had what 3 guitar players on this at any given time. What's his name? Like Robert Fotis or something. Richard Fortus. Richard Fortus is on this album. Whoa! This album it's not total shit. It's just not very fucking interesting. And that's why, well, it took me a year. I think I bought this like last year finally. I had an old, like, bootleg copy of it that has a bunch of extra songs on it that I've had for years and years and years. Probably right when it came out, or maybe even before it came out. But I think this was like super cheap, like a year ago. I saw it and I was like, I might as well get the real version of it. It's pretty exact to the other version, except there's like 23 songs on the other one. So, anyways, the opening track, Chinese Democracy, the title track, it's cool. I like If the World Is Good. That's about it. Everything else, Shackler's Revenge, Better, Street of Dreams. Street of Dreams is awful. Better's almost cool. There was a time. Catcher in the Rye. This sounds, if you took Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 and smashed them together with some spaghetti incident, like, like Buick McCain or, you would have this. Oh, and dash in a little Trent Reznor. That's basically what Chinese Democracy is. It's like Axl still trying to hold the torch for Guns N' Roses, pretending like he was the creative driving force, and then going industrial as well, and then trying to give you his insight on the world. He's a retard. The weird thing is, Ron Bumblefoot Thal and fucking Buckethead, Brian, whatever the fuck his name is, um, they're 2 really fucking good guitar players. I don't know about Richard Fortus. I don't know anything about that guy. I know DJ Ashba was in here for a little bit too, but it wasn't on this album, I don't believe. For having those 2 really good guitar players, this album doesn't even mesh, dude. You just listen to it, and it's like, no, don't be straightforward. You got to be fucking weird. So I know you're a fucking amazing guitar player, but go that way and fuck it up. So it sounds fucked up, and no one will like it. 1 million copies this album sold, and then I was just for the dumb people that was like, holy shit, Guns N' Roses is back. Guns N' Roses is back. Yeah, they were. Chinese Democracy, number 5. Not really worth it. But like I said, it's not a bad album. It just isn't a Guns N' Roses album. And really, I know Axl owns the fucking name, but it's not Guns N' Roses for one. And he needed to understand that. Axl Rose is not Guns N' Roses. He thinks he is because he owns it. But the other guys were kind of important. That's what made Appetite so fucking amazing. But there you go. Number 4. Gonna go Use Your Illusion 1. Out of the 2, this is my lesser favorite of the, yeah. Dustin Bones is fucking great. I love that. Dustin Bones. Can't remember it, but buried her today out on the driveway, right? Dustin Bones. It has Live and Let Die, which is Paul McCartney cover tune. And they did a really cool version of that. Live and let die. You know, Axl had to slather his fucking scratchy, annoying voice. It has, and don't you cry tonight. You know, one of those sappy MTV driven fucking woo. It has one of my fucking absolute favorite Guns N' Roses song of all time. It has double talking job, get the money, motherfucker, cause I got no more patience. Double talking, I got lies, no more patience, man. Double talking jive, written by Izzy. It's fucking genius, and Dustin Bones was Izzy too. So, then it's got November Rain. Let's play piano in the rain. November Rain. Everybody loves that. As Garden of Eden with fucking Alice Cooper, which is fucking cool. The rest of this album is filler and bullshit. It is. That's why I kind of like the second one way more. This was the yellow/orange red one. I mean, it was like right next door to hell. I need it right next door to hell. It has Perfect Crime. You Ate the First. Bad Obsession. Back Off, Bitch. Back Off, Bitch. Ugh. As The Garden. As Don't Blame Me. Don't Damn Me. As Bad Apples. Dead Horse. And Coma. This was basically... Guns N' Roses had become so powerful in their own minds and the minds of Geffen Records, apparently, that they could just, whatever the fuck they were going to do, let them do it. A lot of this was Axl driven. You know, a lot of this could have been just trimmed right the fuck off. Literally, if you took Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 and smashed them together and cut off all the fucking bullshit that was on there, like about most of these songs, you'd had a really fucking killer album. But it didn't matter. In 91, Guns N' Roses was so huge, like, both of these albums sold like 5 million copies, you know, so it really didn't matter. So that's what you got. Use Your Illusion 1 is number 4. It's cool. Sometimes. But like I said, double talking job, get the money, motherfucker, because I got no more patience. I fucking love that song. All right, let's go. Number 3, we're going to go 1988, and we're going to go a little album called GNR Lies. Okay, so GNR Lies is the Live Like a Suicide EP smashed in with the GNR Lies one, so it was 88, 86 smashed together. It is not live. These songs are not live. It was like a demo. It was bullshit. It was recorded in the fucking studio. It's not a fucking live album at all. The coolest thing they do on there is Mama Kin from fucking Aerosmith. Because that's kind of what, like, Guns N' Roses was the even dirtier version of Aerosmith. That's kind of what they were. You know, they were like the LA street gutter version of Aerosmith. You know, the other Aerosmith was from Boston. So it was like, these were like their retarded cousins. They had that reckless life. They had nice boys and then moved to the city. They're all right. But Mama Kin's fucking awesome. Keep in touch with Mama Kin. Knowing where you're gonna be. Getting smoking tea. You know, where it says he's smoking tea. Then it had Patience. Wow, wow. Just a little patience. Where Axl whistles. It had used to love her, but I had to kill her. Now, it's funny because we all know it's like a song written about like killing your girlfriend, but then they pushed out and they said, no, Axl was writing it about his dog. No, you weren't. Don't be stupid. Don't insult people. It's like, dude, if you want to be ballsy, and it's a funny song, and obviously some people take shit way too fucking serious. If it's written about a dog, I don't want to hear it. It's fucking dumb. But if it's written about you killing your girlfriend, it's pretty fucking funny. And it's all tongue in cheek. Not saying to go out and murder anybody, but fuck, dude. It was clever. But when you backtrack and be like, oh no, Axel was thinking about his dog. He had to have his dog put to sleep. First of all, do you picture Axl Rose loving anything? Especially a dog? I don't. I don't even picture him as being human. I think like he goes to his house and they plug him into the wall. Anyways, it has "You're Crazy." Oh, child, you're fucking crazy. It's kind of a leftover from Appetite. It's like the acoustic version of "You're Crazy," which is not really my favorite song anyway, so it's not really awesome. And then it has one of my other fucking favorite Guns N' Roses song of all time, "One in a Million, You're a Shooting Star." Oh, we tried to reach you, but you are much too high. And this is where Axl got beat down, probably by David Geffen himself. I don't know, because he just says crazy white boy, stupid, ignorant fucking shit. And people didn't fucking like it. And it caused fucking some fucking disdain. And Axl had to go mop up. And go on MTV and say, just because I said police and niggas, that's right, get out of my way. He had to go on. And I remember the interview. I remember watching it. Or he's like, just because I said nigger, that doesn't mean I'm talking about all black people. Which, okay, we get that. That's cool. But then he was like, immigrants and faggots, they make no sense to me. And then he said, start some mini red or spread some fucking disease. You know, and this is just at the time where AIDS was a big fucking deal. And, you know, Freddie Mercury was dying of AIDS. All these people were dying of AIDS. And there was a lot of hatred going on. There was a lot of shit. So he uses nigger and then he uses like faggot, and they're in like one of the biggest bands in the land at that point, like kind of huge or getting there. And oops. So, you know, like a couple years later, they slap him with Elton John. They're like, oh yeah, we're totally cool. Publicity. Anyways, this is a cool song, man. And like I said, I like it because if you ever want to like have an insight of what Axl Rose is, this song is Axl fucking Rose, dude. You can fucking hate him or you can love him or whatever, but that is Axl Rose being Axl fucking Rose. Don't let him fucking try and, like a little bitch that he is, don't let him try and scramble out and back up and be like, no, that's not what I meant. Yeah, that's exactly what you fucking meant, dude. When you fucking say whatever the fuck you want, there are repercussions sometimes. Sometimes you gotta fucking answer questions and say, well, what the fuck did you mean by that? Well, now, according to him, the reason why he wrote that song is because he wasn't treated really well when he first came to Hollywood. And he was molested and all this fucking weird shit and stuff. He came from, like, Indiana or some shit, you know, on a Greyhound. That's why he wrote Welcome to the Jungle, you know, because he was this small town white boy just trying to make ends meet. Douchebag. So anyways, I fucking love that song. I don't know, for some reason, that's one of those songs that has been stuck in my head for fucking years. And I can remember back, I used to be at work and I'd be doing stuff, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, you're one in a million, you're a shooting star. And I'd be like, where the fuck does that just pop into my head? I don't know. But it's a great fucking song. It's controversial. whatever. Dude, there's fucking a million more songs out there that are way more controversial than this. Pick up any fucking rap album and go to town. The people should be pointing fingers at people being racist. Everybody's fucking racist according to everybody else. So whatever. But I like the song, even though Axel and the company are pussies. They took it off and they tried to backtrack it. Just like Axel bearing his dog, and I used to love her, but I had to kill her. She's buried right in my backyard. Whoa, whoa. And he even says, take it for what it is. All right, so that was number 3, GNR Lies from 1988. Number 2, I'm going to go Use Your Illusion 2. And the reason why I chose that is I like way more songs off of this one because it was a little more solid. It had Civil War. I don't need your Civil War. I just listened to this like 2 days yesterday. Yeah. Whenever I bought both albums when they first came out, and I always gravitated towards the blue one. One because it had Civil War. Civil War actually has Steven Adler on it. Because Civil War was like a single that they did for some kind of benefit or something. And then they slapped it on the album. So Civil War is a great fucking song. It opens up with, what's his name from Cool Hand Luke? Strother Martin. What we got here is failure to communicate. Most kids, like at that time, when they listened to it, they thought it was like some old lady saying that, but it was like Strother Martin from fucking Cool Hand Luke, you know, the fucking Paul Newman movie, you know. That's a great song, even though it's like some of it doesn't make sense. But and then you got it's been 14 years of running, it's been 14 years of pain, it's been forever and never have again. It's got Yesterdays. It's got the Bob Dylan song. I don't really listen to that. I mean, it's cool. The only problem that I had was like during the live version, that was the crowd participation song, and it would go on for like 3 days. It's still going on right now, and I saw that concert 30 fucking years ago. So, knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. And then it gets kind of hinky, but it's kind of funny that because I was listening to it the other day. It's got Get in the Ring. Now I can remember way back in the day, I was in Hollywood because Matt, the metal god, but they lived in the same apartment complex. And I went up there to visit Nita, and I ended up hanging out with Matt. And I remember we went out for breakfast, and KNAC would play like Get in the Ring on the radio at like 10 o'clock in the morning. They would just play it. Down here, KGB wouldn't touch that song with a million, but because it fucking says crazy shit. But they played Get in the Ring on the radio in LA. That's how cool LA was. Get in the Ring's that rant song where they're all mad about all the like bad press they got and all the weird shit that people would like write about them. So it was like him talking shit to like Mick Wall at Kerrang and Bob Guccione Jr. and just saying crazy shit and threatening people, and it's fun to listen to it. I like the song, but it's fucking dumb. And that's the thing is you like listen to it. Like I listened to it yesterday, and I know all the words to it. I could rant the little Bob Guccione Jr. What, you pissed off because your dad gets more pussy than you? Fuck you. Suck my fucking dick. Get in the ring, motherfucker, and I'll kick your bitchy little ass. Punk. I remember it by heart because I listened to this album a lot. But back then, I thought it was juvenile back then, and now I listen to it, and I'm like, wow, this is fucking juvenile. It's fucking juvenile. It's like some little bitch rock star sitting there threatening people. I don't know who thinks Axl Rose is a tough guy. He's fucking not. Ooh, he's so scary. Yeah. Shotgun Blues, Shotgun Blues. It's alright. Breakdown's okay. Pretty Tied Up. Yeah, Pretty Tied Up is fucking awesome. I love that song. Especially where he says Cool Ranch Dressing. And it's supposed, like, I remember in the liner notes it said cool and stressing, but it comes out Cool Ranch Dressing. Baby's got a locomotive. Locomotive's fucking good. So Fine's good. Estranged is alright. You could be. You get nothing done. This was the song for fucking T2. So I actually kind of hated this song for a while because I fucking hate Edward Furlong. That little bitch. He's fucking like 80 now, but like that little bitch that was in Terminator 2, that little punk kid. The one that got offed at the end of fucking American History X. The fucking kid in the movie, so I kind of hated this fucking song just because I fucking hated that kid. Ugh, little fucking cocksucker. And then he has like the mystifying "Don't Cry," the alternate lyrics. Why? And then, if you're really lucky, you can sit there for 1:24 and listen to Axl spout off "My World." Yeah, it's not. It's kind of like a glimpse, though, into Chinese democracy. But overall, this album's way stronger than the other one, the first one. Even though they both came out the same. This is, I like way more songs on it. There's some great songs on it. So, that's my number 2. Use Your Illusion 2 from 1991. And that leaves us with Appetite for Destruction. Times. My ex-wife played the fuck out of this. I played the fuck out of it. This was a great album. Came out in high school, but it really, like I said, didn't take off until all of a sudden, like, came out with a video for every fucking song on here. It's so easy. That's that fucking song. It's so easy, easy, where everybody's trying to please me, baby. Where he's like, why don't you just fuck off? Me, I'm fucking innocent. Mr. Brownstone. Let's write a song about heroin, because half of them were on fucking heroin like hardcore. Especially Adler. Adler was the one that couldn't handle his drugs. Claws way back in, ever since. Too many fucking lines of fucking blow off fucking hookers' titties and shit. We've been dancing with Mr. Brownstone. He's been knocking. He won't leave me alone. He won't leave me alone. I mean, this song is like imprinted in my fucking DNA. Take me down to the Paradise City where the grass. Da, da, da. My Michelle. It's a great song. I can't remember the fucking lyrics. I remember your daddy works in porno now that mommy's not around. She used to love her heroin, but now she's underground. So you stay up late at night and you do your dope for free. Driving your friends crazy with your life's insanity. Tell me why. Whatever. It's got Sweet Child that song, yeah. Well, Welcome to the Jungle be one of them, and the other one is Sweet Child of Mine. Or it could even be Paradise City too, because it came out with a fucking video for that. For me, I can listen to Welcome to the Jungle anytime. It's such a great fucking song. Down and down and down and down. My home sweet home for this fucking album. I don't like that fucking song. My ex-wife used to love that fucking song. It's a great song. Don't get me wrong. Fucking Sweet Child of Mine's a great song, but I just never need to fucking pop that on. But if I listen to this whole album, I'll listen to it. I'm not gonna throw it away. Then it's got You're Fucking Crazy, Oh Child. I like the version on this album more than I like the acoustic version. So, and then the other one is Rocket Queen. You Rocket Queen. Maybe I'll never see. And here I am, your Rocket Queen. Oh yeah. What are these songs? Actual like fuck somebody's girlfriend or some shit on the song? I think it's Rocket Queen. I'm not sure. I never really got that much into them to like learn their little mythos. Was checked off my fucking list. Ugh, scratched out. So, like I said, ex-wife. Think About You and Anything Goes are all right. But this is a great album. It obviously it's like the best-selling fucking debut of all time. It took a while to get there, but it's a great album. But at the same time, when do I reach for it? I don't know. I actually would probably reach for Use Your Illusion 2. In fact, I did yesterday. I was like, oh, I should listen to Guns. I picked Use Your Illusion. That's kind of my go-to album. That's fucking it. That's all they had, man. So was Use Your Illusion 1. Number 3 was GNR Lies. Number 2 was Use Your Illusion 2. And number 1 was Appetite for Destruction. They came out with the greatest hits. And they did Sympathy for the Devil. It's not awesome. Just stick with the Stones version. Definitely don't listen to the Ozzy version because Jesus. Ugh. And then they have a live fucking album called Live Era 80. Mystifying. Guns N' Roses is one of those bands where it's like you didn't have one show that Axl didn't throw his fucking microphone into the audience and walk off stage or beat somebody up or fucking actual live album. You had to go and hack up bits and pieces of fucking live shows for the span of fucking 7 years, 6 years. But they had to do that. I don't know. Now, like, I don't want a live album from them now. Fuck, you look at Guns N' Roses, you got like, okay, it's basically, you got some blue-haired chick, some black dude that's a drummer, that's cool, and some dude that kind of looks like Izzy, Richard, whatever. Oh, and then you have Dizzy Reed, which is funny because it's like, wow. I'm the keyboard player for Guns N' Roses. You were never a huge band member to begin with. Like first of all, you were second generation Guns N' Roses, and then you were like, who the fuck ever was like, Dude, I love Dizzy Reed. He's such a. He played on the on Matt the Metal. So that's great. Dizzy Reed played keyboards on it from Guns N' Roses, and then the guy that produced it was the guy that produced the new fucking Metallica album. So we need to bust out that Bad Example fucking tape and check it out. Anyways, I remember Matt was saying they had to get Dizzy cocaine. Just wants to blow. Anyways, Dizzy Reed, yeah, like it almost makes you go, gosh, bring back Gilby Clarke. That was the other thing I remember. I remember they're like, oh, it's a super group. There was some group came out and they're like, yeah, it has Gilby Clarke in it from Guns N' Roses. And you're like, that's a super group? Yeah. Gilby Clarke. A fucking Matt Sorum shirt. A fucking Dizzy Reed shirt. Those three members of Guns N' Roses were fill-ins, minor players. They would be at the bottom of the credits, like main stars, extras. Just saying. So, fuck, we'll see if Guns N' Roses gets their shit together and comes out with an album. It's not going to be stellar, so I'm not. You're not going to get a Guns N' Roses album this year or next year and pop it on and be like, holy wow. Terrible. People go, oh yeah, dude, it sounds like Guns N' Roses. That's what somebody said. It sounded like that song Absurd. It sounded like Guns N' Roses in the future. It sounded like the shit that was on Chinese Democracy 13 fucking years ago, retooled a little bit so Axl and Duff could get a writing credit because they're such genius fucking songwriters. And then it's not Lennon and McCartney, dude. Yeah, like fucking McKagan and Slash, greatest songwriting team of all time. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like Guns N' Roses in the future. Like in the dystopian future where all hope is lost. I'll probably never listen to it again. I listened to it twice and then I was like, wow, this is bad. It sounds terrible. Sounds like Trent Reznor with Axl singing, but kind of back in the mix, so it's kind of fucking weird. And then, yeah, it's garbage. Anyways, that's my Guns N' Roses show. Like I said, dude, there's certain Guns N' Roses songs I fucking love, and I would play. Double Talk and Jive, I'll play that anytime. I fucking love that song. One in a Million. Most of fucking Appetite. Fucking Civil War. Shit like that. I fucking love those songs. They're fucking great. But when Guns N' Roses kind of let Axl go too far and then did cover tunes and bullshit, or let Axl own the band and then let him come out with the Axl Rose album, but it's the Axl Rose solo album. So, I mean, the first song, Chinese Democracy, was written by like 40 fucking people. Look it up. Go on Wikipedia and look up Chinese Democracy, the album, and then go down to the writing credits, and literally on the fucking, on Chinese Democracy, and scroll down after it gets, it has to tell you all the fucking bullshit that went on. There is literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 fucking people wrote that song. It doesn't take 8 fucking people to write a fucking song. And that song's not. It's one of the better songs on the album, but it's not stellar. It sounds kind of like shit off Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. So it's kind of rolling over with the same shit they already were doing. And, you know, a little bit maybe industrial, but 8 people. It took 8 people and 10 fucking years to write that fucking song and get it out. Cost $52 million. Jesus Christ. Anyways, if you want, go see Guns N' Roses, pay a bunch of money to sing their greatest hits to you, and maybe put out a couple of new songs. Woo. Not an album I'm eagerly waiting for. Not, being honest, not. But I'll buy it, I'm sure, because, you know, I gotta be able to go. So, yeah, Guns N' Roses, like I said, man, they're an important band, but not really. I mean, they didn't change the face of rock and roll. They didn't do anything new. They were like Aerosmith on heroin, which Aerosmith was on heroin, but, like, these guys were. But Aerosmith wasn't telling you they were on heroin. These guys were. It's like the LA gutter version of Aerosmith, basically. I mean, are you a huge Tom Hamilton fan? Are you? I mean, if you're a huge Duff McKagan fan and Tom, there's almost like kind of a lot of parallels. Okay, drummer, you know, Joey Kramer, Adler, fucking Sorum. Okay, not like fucking Neil Peart, you know, not your. And then you got Izzy, Gilby Clarke, Brad Whitford, you know. And then you had Slash and the Joe Perry, which, you know, Slash loves Joe Perry, so like, oh. And then you got the noisy, raucous, weirdo singer. Fuck, on paper, they're like the same fucking band, except for one came from Boston in the 70s and one came from fucking LA in the late 80s. Both of them drug addict motherfuckers, so. Hey. Anyways, everybody stay metal. Enjoy.